Have you ever invented anything? I didn't think so. So, let's react to Obscure Obsolete Inventions by Salmonella with me, Mistic Reacts. Be sure to check out him down below, and let's get on into the video.
Months upon months of unrelenting pressure by you psychopaths pretending to be my
Merch.
characters on Twitter, I finally got a merch store. Let this be a lesson,
It's
kids.
been
With enough
6 years,
harassment, you can
so
achieve
I
anything.
don't know if
Anyway,
you
go
still
check it
have it,
out, or
but
don't, whatever.
mm, obscure, outdated
Hey kids,
inventions.
if I learned anything from my middle school career, it's that what may seem like a good idea initially will often be remembered only as a foolish mistake. Here's a few pieces of technology from yesteryear that have since fallen into total obscurity. So I've
Okay.
always believed that there's no point in having many small things when you can have one big thing. Why have many shrimp when you can have one lobster? Why
Mm,
drink many glasses of milk when you can eat one udder? Why have many
uh,
cheese-its when you can have one cheese-them? Patent pending.
mm-hmm,
And why have many street lights when you can have one moonlight tower? These guys
mm-hmm.
were real popular back in the 1880s and 90s, often standing at over 150 feet tall and illuminating several blocks from a single point. Not very well, mind you. Matter of fact, they were so dim, we didn't even have the conscience to just call them light towers. Had to go and stick the moon on the front so people didn't get their hopes up. But thanks to our good
Mm.
old friend, the inverse square law, you still needed a fuck ton of light to pull this off. So they used incredibly harsh and UV emitting arc lights instead of incandescent bulbs. All the light of the moon and all the vision damage of the sun? Talk about a win-win. Sadly, these beasts have fallen by the wayside over the past century or so, except for in
Mm-hmm.
Austin, apparently, but they use friendlier mercury vapor lamps in them,
That
so they only get
reminds
half
me
point.
of that tower reminds me of uh Adventure Arcadia towards the end. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't played that game, but it reminds me of that kind of the sounds
Now,
and
anyone
stuff.
who's been around a baby long enough knows they always
Nope.
have a cloud of ghoulish stench hovering around
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
Jeez
Yeah.
Louise, somebody better air out that musty little muskrat before Grandma starts drooping again. You could stick him on the clothesline for a while, but knowing that little moron, I'm sure he'd find a way to hurt himself somehow.
Mhm.
Introducing the baby cage. Finally, city dwellers all
Ooh.
across the nation have a way of unleashing their
Cats use
postnatal
these
funk on the
now.
unsuspecting passerby below. These were in vogue for a while before falling out of style a bit of the way into the 20th century, because apparently society started deeming babies more valuable than air conditioners. I don't really get it personally, but this is also around the time we started putting
But
lead
now
in
we put
gasoline,
cats
so
in
it's probably
those.
for the best we kept them
So.
inside all day. Matter of fact, it's my firm belief that without kids growing up breathing lead, there's no way pet rocks would have taken off in the 70s.
Mhm.
Wow, alienating baby boomers. He's so brave and controversial. Now, in the days between the Great War and the not as great but still pretty alright war, people were trying to find efficient means of detecting an incoming air attack. They climbed their
Mhm.
nation's tallest mountains to seek the wisdom of their greatest elders, and the wise men said, big ears. So that's what they did. These giant
Big
discs were known as
ears.
acoustic mirrors and were designed to focus incoming sound over a 5-meter diameter into a single point. They were
Hmm.
reasonably effective as listening devices. A few of them in Britain were able to pick up the sound of a plane from all the way across the English Channel. Of course, radar
How
came
far
along
is
soon
that?
after, rendering these things completely useless beyond looking brutalist as hell. For real, instant album cover material rating.
Mhm.
Ah! One of the Pep Boys is pulling a Spanish Inquisition on this poor wayward harlot. Huh. Just kidding. Despite the fact that this looks so very much like a state-of-the-art instrument of torture, it's actually just a beauty micrometer. Think those shoe size measure things at Foot Locker, only instead of one primitive measurement, it records the entire topology of your
Oh.
face and skull at once. With this data, a trained cosmetologist would be able to pinpoint exactly what features of your head should be enhanced and reduced with makeup in order to achieve a maximum calculated attractiveness after you've paid for their services. Clearly this device must have been effective. After all, beauty is entirely objective. What, eye of the beholder? Check the name tag, buddy. Apparently, though, women didn't like being strapped into a birdcage and having their every minute flaw meticulously
Who would
laid
have
out in front of
thought?
them, so this thing never really took off in the end. Next, we have the Humlauf.
It
This was a
definitely would
device made during
now.
World War II designed to let infantry shoot around corners. It's like the
Oh.
Germans sat down and watched that part in Tom and Jerry where the conniving rat bends the gun barrel back at his adversary. They said, Mein Gott. They came in a variety of angles between 30 and 90 degrees, and even came with a
Ooh.
little periscope so you could see what you were shooting at. But as we all come to find out when we reach adolescence, cartoons are the arbiters of deceit, because these things would invariably break within the first couple hundred shots or so. And even when they did work, the rounds would fucking explode from the massive acceleration, turning a deadly bullet into an ineffectual spray of shrapnel. These were so ineffective that only the 30-degree model ever saw significant production beyond prototypes, and even that was very limited. Say, you ever look at regular mouse traps and go, not enough property damage? Well, check this out. Patented in 1882, it's the revolver mousetrap, brought to you by the makers of the snail trebuchet and the cockroach claymore. Thanks to the marvels of the modern era, all those tiresome hours of intense varmint slang can be outsourced to one little gadget on the floor of your kid's playroom. Now when you hear a gunshot in the middle of the night, you can rest easy knowing that, one way or the other, there's one less pest for you to deal with in the morning. 1850. Steam locomotives are all the rage. You're in the transport business, but all you can afford is
I've
a
never
couple
been on a
dumb
train.
horses. Sure, they move things from point A to point B almost as well at a fraction of the cost, but your cool rail-riding friends called you a whack-ass and it really hurt your feelers. Well, have we got the invention for you? The Impulsoria uses an ingenious system of treadmills to turn that horse to be beckoned into a force to be reckoned with. Sure, it's expensive as hell to make and limits your services entirely to railroads, but just look at it. Instant pussymobile. Slap some rims and a spoiler on that, you're laughing. This machine is recorded at having a maximum output of 2 to 4 horsepower, which sounds about right, and it didn't see much use outside a couple exhibitions. Now, if there's one hobby that people in the past enjoyed, it's smoking. Who boy did they like smoking. And with every great wholesome activity comes a million novelty items to go along with it. Everyone's seen the long cigarette, but how about the really long cigarette? Want to smoke in the rain? Here you go. Going snorkeling? Hey, you know what's more important than oxygen? Nicotine. But hey, want to know the only thing better than a cigarette? 2 cigarettes. You know what? Fuck it. Have the whole pack. You earned it. Of course, if you're trying to cut back, you can always share it with a friend. Aw, how heartburning. But you know what's even more fun than addiction? High-quality documentaries. That's why you should check out CuriosityStream. From the face behind the Discovery Channel, CuriosityStream lets you stuff your little meatuses full of all the bizarre knowledge the world has to offer. And with over 2,400 titles, there's no way there isn't something that interests you here. Remember Secret Life of Pets?
Definitely
Trash movie,
some
turgid prose,
obscure
stilted dialogue,
inventions
pandering humor,
that I
and above all,
feel
highly
like
unrealistic.
they would
On the
do
other hand,
probably
The Secret Life of Dogs is an absolute
some of
treasure.
them
Did you
would
know they turn
do
their tongues into
better
weird
than they
inside-out labels
did
when they drink?
on
Just
the
one of the many fun
initial
facts found inside.
release.
Normally, full access to CuriosityStream only
Because
costs
we do
$2.99
not
a
have
month or $20
brains
a year, which is nothing.
and we are
That's like a
very
McDonald's run every
insecure
4
these
months. But if you
days.
still have your doubts, you can get 30 days
So
free
that
if you sign up at
makeup thingamabob
curiositystream.com/salmonella
would
and use
definitely
promo
be
code salmonella
popular
during the
today.
sign-up process. Anyway, that's all for today. Till next time, I'm Salmonella, and check out this JPEG.
Ooh, nice JPEG. Oh, that's a pickle. I did not realize that. You ain't from Delaware. You ain't from Delaware if you've never had this. Hard Eyes 100. Well, I ain't from Delaware, so I have to agree with that. But until next time, bye bye.